It's loading. All right, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first live stream on the new Live Reality Games page. Woo! If you are watching this video or listening to this audio, let us just quickly introduce what's going on here. This is being streamed live on our Facebook page. You can find it at facebook.com/live reality games. And this is a new Facebook page where you can find everything live reality games. And I am joined by, someone who created this page, Kirk Carlson. Kirk, can you tell us more about it?
Well, this is a page that eventually is going to be a home for different fan groups that are fans of all these different Survivor, Big Brother games. And it's going to be a place to build a community and learn more about the shows.
Yeah. And so one of the cool aspects of this page that I've been telling everybody is that because it's now a page rather than a group, the page means that we can host different groups within the page. Okay. It's like Inception. There's a group within a group within a group. And like there is a Survivor Michigan season 3 group where you can discuss all things as you're watching the episodes. And this is really cool because like I interact with people on Twitter and whatnot as I watch stuff, but this is so cool to have like a discussion thread all about Richard and all about how great he is and everything, or Cooper, so find our page, find a group that is a show you're interested in, or, you could join the group that's all about casting where they will post once this COVID is over, all the live reality games that are casting. So that's all about the page. Well, let's introduce ourselves real quickly, and then we'll get to our special guest. I'm Hannah. I have played a live reality game, Survival Challenge, 2 years ago. I have hosted a Survivor podcast, and I'm a huge fan of what I call YouTube Survivor, where you go on YouTube and you watch different fan-made survivors. And I'm currently making episodes for Survival Challenge Season 7. So my own little plug there. Kirk, what about yourself?
Well, hey, everybody, I'm Kirk. I'm a live reality game addict for about 15 years. I started as a host and a player, but mostly today I'm usually just sitting on my couch watching these on TV and rooting for different people. You could see me currently. I'm in Survivor British Columbia Season 5, so you might see me there, recognize me. I'm also the host of Adventure Coco Pele. But, speaking of favorites, we're here with one of my favorites from Survivor Michigan.
So the whole reason we're here today is to talk about the first episode of Survivor Michigan Season 3, Mazed and Confused, right?
Yes.
So we're going to jump into introducing our special guest, but we're going to give a spoiler warning. If you have not watched the first episode, stop now. Go watch it. This will be recorded. If you're watching live, it's okay. You can stop and you can come back later. All right. The spoiler warning is done. We have the Jeff Probst of Survivor Michigan. Cooper James is with us. How's it going, Cooper?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself today?
Doing good. And along with Cooper, we have a very special guest, someone we hated to see leave so soon. The star of episode 1. Richard. How's it going, Richard?
It's going all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling today, too. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine.
Richard just has to talk about like an hour of him getting voted out. So it's tough.
Yeah,
for him.
it's fun.
But I mean, it was an amazing episode. It was so well edited. It has over 3,000 views right now. And I'll admit that this was my very first time watching Survivor Michigan. I have watched different college survivors, but I had not jumped into the Michigan world yet because I live in Ohio and we just like don't do Michigan. So let's talk about episode 1, or let's talk about Survivor Michigan. Cooper, you were just telling me about how you got involved in Survivor Michigan. You want to talk more about that?
Yeah, so I was actually a contestant on season 1, for those who don't know. So I applied, got on, did the whole thing. No spoilers there. I won't tell you how I did, but go watch it. But the host, the creator of Survivor Michigan, George, then graduated and stepped down, and I just stepped up and took his place, and we just were running from there. We basically now, people who play come onto production, and the ball keeps rolling. So I hosted 3 seasons. So season 2 is out, season 3 is airing, and season 4 is next. So I hosted all those.
Wow. So you jumped in at season 2 to host. And
Mhm.
speaking of production, you have a huge production team. I was looking at the credits at the end and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes, yeah, and it just keeps growing. So, but like so much of what we do relies on the people that we cast, then just being so involved and basically liking and loving the community so much that they just stick with it and then help with future seasons. So, a lot of the people that you see cast on seasons 1 and 2, you might see in the backgrounds here of season 3, just either filming or just kind of standing there watching because. Yeah, it's become just such a community that everyone just kind of sticks around and helps out.
I love it. Were you into college survivors before you applied for your first season, for the first season? Like, had you heard of it before?
So George, the host of season 1, posted it on all the Michigan Facebook pages, and I saw it there. And along with that, he posted a YouTube link to Survivor Maryland. So before that, I hadn't seen anything, but I was like, oh, cool, Survivor. I love Survivor. And I clicked on the YouTube link for Survivor Maryland, and I watched whatever season he had linked, and I was like, this seems super cool. Like,
Right?
I want to do this.
Right.
And so I immediately just applied, and it just kind of all happened. It lucked out, and here we are today.
That's cool that you had a little bit of experience of watching what it could be. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Richard, how did you hear about this?
So I was actually friends with George Jane, the creator of Survivor Michigan, before the first season. Actually, during the first season, and he didn't know about me when he was starting it, but we met on something different, and he told me, "Oh, I created the Survivor game," and I said, "Oh my gosh, you have to let me know if they're doing more seasons. I'd love to play." Because while it may seem like I don't know what I'm doing, I actually did have reasons behind the madness, which we'll get to later. But I'm actually a huge fan of Survivor, which it might not come off as while you watch it, because you might say, why would this person do all these dumb things?
Okay, I think it did come across because of what you were doing was so ballsy that it's like, oh, this guy has an idea of crazy things you can do. It did not come off as completely idiotic.
Exactly. And good players take risks. And I thought you were trying to take a risk at that challenge, but we'll get into that later.
You know what? Before we even jump into talking about the episode, I think that we should just take a moment right now. Kirk and I want to take a note out of Dylan's book and thought that it would be beneficial if we would just pre-record some responses that we can just plug in during this this video that I'm going to actually post as a podcast later. So Kirk, are you ready? Well, let's just get some responses out of the way.
Yeah, I can't believe she did that.
Wow, fascinating.
That was pretty crazy.
I can't believe she's done that.
This is a $3 rain jacket.
Interesting move, Richard.
I'm in a warm room. Literally, I'm sweating in here. It's 90 degrees.
Neat. All right, we've got our reactions down. We'll plug those in later.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dylan, for the inspiration.
You guys have a whole podcast now. You just put those in everywhere. Basically makes the whole show.
Plug it in. It's great. Yeah, Dylan was also a huge standout. We'll get into that later. So, jumping into episode 1, a question for you, Cooper, is why did you split the tribes the way you did at the beginning? We can even go before tribe split. Do you want to talk about the casting at all? What should we do? Why did you cast Richard? Was he a definite right away, or
I think Richard definitely was right away. This cast was so unbelievably good. I think you saw it in the first episode. Just every single person brings something to the cast, and we feel like everybody brings a little something different. We didn't have too many people that fit the same mold too. So we had a decent amount of people who applied, and it was hard to cut it down to 18. So the people that did make it are really, really, really good characters, and they're either super funny, they're super into the game. They all have something that is their character that they will be on the show.
Yes. Yep. I agree. This cast was so fun. And what's really interesting are the people who are completely new to Survivor. That shocked me. When we see scenes of people explaining Survivor.
Yeah, no, it's really, we love that in our application pool, how we get so many people somehow that still, they see some ad about Survivor and they don't even know what it is and they just like apply. And we love that because it just makes our cast so diverse. You get people like Jesse and Nick who don't know a lot about Survivor on a tribe with 4 other people who really do. And are the 4 people going to stick together? Is it like, are you going to try to use some of those people who maybe don't really know what they're doing? Like tribe dynamics like that are super cool to watch play out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the scene with Will and Jesse is fantastic. It's like a big brother teaching his little sister how to play Survivor. And she's like, oh, I get some of that. And I'm really hoping that relationship continues growing this season.
Yeah, and what was really fun about that conversation they were having in the car when he's explaining, how Survivor works. Like he starts at a certain level, then he's like, "Oh wait, you know nothing?" Okay, so then he brings it down. And I also love that you could tell that she does have naturally a good sense of the game. How does she have like a confessional where she says like, I'm a little wary about Will. So so that was great.
Yeah, Jessie is fantastic. She comes in and knows nothing about the game, but she's so perceptive, just like naturally as a person. And so even though she doesn't really she knows she's being brought into this like alliance that is kind of just like, well, why are you bringing me in here? Like she asks Will that. And it's like, it's just so funny to see her not really know, but then be so perceptive about, I know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So the cast all shows up at this meeting place. I love with College Survivor, the classic who gets there first, who gets there late is always a thing. Richard, I don't remember where did you fall when you arrived? Were you in the middle of the pack? Were you at the beginning, at the end?
Okay, here's some insight into the game. Like I was thinking, like, you know what? I should the best players, they always kind of play low key till the merge, right? So that was my plan going in.
Low key?
I'm not even kidding. That was my plan. So I said, okay, I shouldn't show up early. I should show up like on time, maybe like a minute or 2 late. I don't want to I wasn't expecting like 15 of the 18 people playing to be super fans. So I was like, I should probably, I don't want to scare anyone with how much I'm into this. Mm-hmm. So I go in late. And by then I think I might've been the second to last person there. Like everyone apparently came in 10 minutes early.
Wow.
I was like, that was too late, I guess. I don't know.
For college students too, that's amazing.
True.
And Hannah, I've also heard players at other live reality games using the same strategy, trying to get there as early as possible. And I think that's why other games like Survival Challenge has a very regimented process in how the players arrive, because it is an advantage for sure.
There was literally a girl from my game that we call Late Laura because she was the one who was late. And it's just funny how that puts a target on you right away for getting there late. Her car was out of gas. It wasn't her fault. So Richard, you said that you were a super fan. I know you've kind of talked about, but how big of a super fan were you going into this?
I wasn't a huge super fan. I'm actually much more into it now than I was then. This was I didn't have a lot of time to ever watch the show, so I would watch it as it goes on. I've seen the actual Survivor show, the US version, and I'd seen every season since season 19 because that's when I started watching, but I hadn't seen any of the seasons before that, some other people who know the names of the islands that they're being filmed on.
Shout out Austin.
So I just thought that I'm like, oh wow, I'm probably gonna know so much more than all these fools. But it turns out they all knew way more than I did. But I didn't know it at the time.
No, yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? So who did you connect with right off the bat when you got there? Was there anybody who stood out to you?
No, it was kind of a cluster of people. I wasn't expecting it to be like that because I'd never watched College Survivor before. I had no idea what was going to happen. I didn't know how people played. I didn't know if there was a different type of a strategy, which obviously there is now knowing. But there's a different type of strategy when you're playing in college as opposed to playing on an island because you have other things to do. And so I went in and I thought maybe they'll just have us all meet at the exact same time, or they'll split us into tribes and then have us meet each other. But no, we're just all in a group, and everyone's kind of saying their name and talking to each other. But I don't know if that actually means anything when you're in such a circle. We're just in a circle talking. But I don't know if any bonds were formed right then.
Right. So Cooper, do you want to talk about what you planned for this beginning, or what you and your production team planned?
Yes. So obviously the season is called Maized and Confused. So we were like ready to throw a lot at these guys. And we were like, let's just do something day one. And I think a lot of ideas were floated around. But one that we really liked was, let's have them like have some kind of way to pick their own tribes a little bit. But we don't want to give any one person too much power. So we're just like, let's, as an 18, just have them kind of group themselves and see if the people that have kind of already talked in the circle like group up right away. And we also really liked that we went with the groups of 3 because we knew we were going to do 3 tribes of 6. And so we're saying, hey, if we get 2 really strong groups of 3 that end up getting like randomized together, that's going to be a really, really good first tribal too, where these 3 might not want to back down and we're going to have something have to happen. So it was a lot of different things that played into it, but that was a big draw, was letting them kind of control a little bit right at the beginning of who they wanted to be with, and then trying to get that like 3-3 dynamic right off the bat.
I loved it. Kirk, have you ever seen anything like this before?
I have never seen any Survivor production team say, players, choose your team. I mean, I can't imagine, Richard, what would have been going on through your head. Like, are these people on my tribe? Are they going to be fighting against me? I'm actually curious, Richard, like what was going on in your head? What was your decision-making process at that time?
So I was a little upset because I don't like twists. I'm a fan of watching twists, but when it comes to playing, I hate them. They're awful. I can't plan in advance. I'm the type of person I need to plan in advance.
I feel you, Richard. I feel you. I'm on the same page.
I go in and they say, "All right, guys. So it's going to be Mazed and Confused this season, and we're going to be doing like 5 twists a day." And I'm just, I'm like, all right, well that sucks. So I had like 2 goals going into the day. I'm like, all right, make some relationships, and 2, like make sure you win the first challenge, because statistically, if you win the first challenge, you have it's like a 5 times the chance of winning the game or something. It's ridiculous.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Because you have so much more time to like talk to people without having, you can talk to your tribe without worrying about who's going to get voted out first.
Yeah. So who did you end up in a group with?
I ended up with, I think it might have been Devin and Emily. Okay. But it was more
which Emily?
Yeah. Devin and Emily B. Yeah. Devin and Emily B. And Devin was the only person like I was close to right off the bat, but it was more like, it wasn't like I was close to him. It was more like we talked. We were next to each other in this circle, I think.
Yeah, next to each other.
And then we found Emily B and she came with us. But it wasn't like any deep thinking I was doing for that.
I loved hearing the confessionals from the people. Which girl? One of the girls said, like, I wanted to be with the strong players right off the bat. Who was it?
I want to say maybe it was Cassie or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think it was Cassie.
So that was really cool hearing how like you just gravitate towards like your best chance. And then when they pulled the buff, that was so cool. I loved it. I loved it so much. Like Survival Challenge season 5 did something kind of similar to it, but they still were in predetermined groups, and then they had to split into their own groups. So like you were just right off the bat, like, all right, pick a group. Mm-hmm. Let's go. It was awesome.
And I kept thinking, what if there's a tribe of all females, or like just all of the same type? And what would that be like to watch that play out? So this is definitely a twist I think other hosts should look at and kind of incorporate in their own way into their games. It's really interesting.
Speaking of gender, I know in the LRG world, it's often hard to find girls who want to play these games. Like that's been a thing forever. So Cooper, did you find any issue with recruiting girls to play this game?
We typically get more guys who apply. Like I think that has just been a staple throughout all the seasons. Like you just like it's just how it is.
Yeah.
But
we get it.
exactly. But we have such a good and big applicant pool that narrowing it down to 9 girls is still so hard. Like we have to cut people who we really want to take. So thankfully we just have a big enough pool to start with that it's usually not too big of an issue.
Yeah, that's awesome. But still you pick 3 Emilys.
Yes. Yeah, I think that was really funny. And we also were like, they could all end up on the same tribe. And that would be chaotic because we're going and going.
For not caring about their names, Good
on yeah. I mean, we cast for like, how are you going to be in the show? Like, are you going to help the show? Are you going to make the show good? Are you going to make the season good? So we were like, 3 Emilys, like, you know what? It's Maized and Confused. Like that just adds to
it. Just really quickly, what does your casting process look like?
We try to just basically ping out our application anywhere we can and get as many people to apply. And then basically we usually cut it about half the applicants and then interview like everybody else. And so everybody gets like an application score, everybody gets an interview score, all the interviews get recorded. And so all the people on production, even if you weren't there live for the interview, can go in and watch them.
Wow.
And basically you have your take on who you want cast. And then we have a big production meeting of a bunch of infighting about who is going to actually get cast for the season.
Oh, I love college students. Man, especially organized ones. It's great.
We try.
But you still get a lot of strong women on this season through your applicants. So even though it's hard to get women, you have some great, is it Eliza? How do you say it?
Eliza, yeah.
Eliza.
Great.
Wow. This whole episode, like, she just blew my mind.
Andrew and Eliza were the 2 that I was obsessed with off the bat. Andrew is such a fascinating character. He's the guy who was, the sports guy, but he's like trying to hide that he has a brain. Man, I was just constantly just like, who is this dude? And we'll talk about the end of the episode. My jaw was on the floor. I have been watching Survivor Buffalo. Don't spoil it. I have not been caught up. And so I have already seen Emily P. and I've seen Austin playing. I mean, Emily P. is the host of Survivor Buffalo, but I've seen Austin play. So I know his character already. So it was very, very funny watching the arc of Austin this episode. And Richard, I think we see like right at towards the beginning when you guys are walking away from the first hoorah, you guys are walking and somehow Austin ends up behind you guys. Do I have this right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what was going on? Were you guys just faster? Were you being rude? What was going on?
I don't know what was happening with the 4 of them, but do we want to talk about the challenge first? Because everything I do after the challenge is because of what I do at the challenge.
So yeah, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh my gosh, that was the challenge. I'm sorry, the timeline is off for me.
So yeah. So you break up into teams.
And then they have the challenge.
And you're thinking you probably get to have some downtime. And no, Cooper, you're like, we're going right into the first not reward challenge, immunity challenge. Like, this is legit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We were like, let's get these people like running, like we're gonna throw a twist at them, we're gonna like make them compete in the challenge. And we basically tried to have everybody compete in all the parts of the challenge too, which was a lot to handle. But we wanted the challenge to maybe have some kind of factor in it. So everybody had to participate in the challenge all the way through.
Yeah, it was a great way to start it off. It was a lot going on, a lot of movement, everybody participating.
And a lot of phases. Because you had the phases, tribes can catch up and get back behind. So, Richard, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's talk about that strategy during the puzzle.
So everybody is, in case you haven't watched the episode, everybody is doing their puzzle at the end. Every tribe is doing their puzzle, but Richard is not with his tribe. Richard has planted himself behind another tribe and he is yelling numbers in their ears so that because it's a number puzzle. And what was that one number he kept on saying? 170?
79 or something.
I don't know. It was 2 years ago.
You don't remember, Richard? 179. So, Richard, what was your reasoning? Did you know you were going to do this or did it just happen out of nowhere? What was going on?
No, if I had thought about this beforehand, I would never have done this. This was pure adrenaline dictating what I did with my mouth. So we're first to get to the puzzle, and I'm so happy because, like I said, I had 2 goals going in, was to make friends, and I said I don't want to make friends, but no one can actually do that. No, I didn't make friends anyway. So there's the make friends and then win the challenge. So those are the 2 things. I'm like all thrown off by the maze and confused. We're doing twists. Like I don't like the twists already. So my brain is like, we must win the challenge by all means necessary, which is obviously like it's a dumb to be 100% going into anything. So we get to the puzzle first. I'm happy because, all right, we get to the puzzle first. We should be able to totally win this. Fine. The other 2 tribes get there. The orange tribe, we're the orange tribe.
Dude, you were orange.
Yeah, the black tribe. What was the black tribe called?
Tafiti.
Tafiti wins the challenge. They get first. And then it's just us and the green tribe, which is Tormenta, right? Yeah. So it's us and Tormenta. And I'm not helping with the puzzle at all because it's like a little sheet of paper and there's like 5 people crowded around it. I say, you know what? It's not worth it. What if I yelled numbers at the other team?
What if?
I think about it for not long enough. I should have thought about it way more. In fact, I shouldn't have done it. But if I had thought about it enough, I would have realized that was the dumbest thing I could have done. So I start doing it. And I start shouting numbers because I just want to win the challenge. I really don't want to lose the challenge. It's imperative in my mind that we win above anything else. I'm thinking my tribe will be happy that I do this at that moment. Obviously, after I'm thinking, this was so dumb. Why would I do this? But at the moment, I'm thinking it's a good idea. And so I do it for about 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and gosh.
I'm getting really annoyed. And there's a point where, like, they all, like, kind of get mad and, like, yell at me to go away.
Yeah, we saw, was it Erin?
Erin
Is that her
did
name?
that,
yeah.
Erin.
What was
she also in the chat?
Right, should I stop? Or should I leave? Or should I keep going? Well, I shouldn't stop now because they're already mad at me. And then we still want to win. So then I do keep going. And then eventually the Tafiti helps Tormenta win. And I honestly think that if that hadn't happened, we would have won the challenge because of what I was doing.
Right.
And I think we would have lost if no one helped anyone and no one sabotaged anyone.
Yeah, and we can kind of, I just want to I don't want to jump to the end, but I don't think this was like your game losing move. Like this didn't cause you to get voted out.
I don't play the way I do unless I do this first.
Oh, so this kind of like put you in you were like burying your own grave and then you're trying to get out for the rest of the, okay. Cause like we see something else happen that I thought was the nail in the coffin. Man, I just keep on talking about a grave. But like, yeah, so it definitely ruined your future relationship with whoever was on that tribe, right? Like that was the big thing of like, you just pissed off that whole tribe.
Yeah, and I don't know, like in the moment it seems really bad, but who knows, like down the road, like this is a very long game. There's going to be other drama happening. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it's over. I've already lost. It's the first 10 minutes. I've already effed everything up, right? But really, if you think about it long term, like I didn't think about it. If you think about it long term, like people probably aren't going to care like that much. I feel like if I go to the tribe and apologize at a switch or whatever, if there's a switch coming up, like I'm like, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal.
Right.
If you were at Final Tribal Council, I highly doubt anybody would have brought up anything from episode 1.
And like you said, it's not like what you naturally would play like.
Yeah. So that my biggest mistake, I think, in the entire game was thinking that that was a big deal when it really wasn't, because my tribe didn't even care, which was weird because I totally thought they would. I thought, oh, I'm the first one out. It's over. I've got to like play really hard now to make sure it's not me. When in reality, all I had to do was not do anything and they would have voted Austin out, which is too bad.
Cooper, I don't remember. Who are the people on Richard's starting tribe?
Yeah, so you got Richard and Austin, and then Andrew and Eliza, who we've already mentioned, and then you've got Devin and Emily B.
Okay. Wow, what a tribe to start out with. So what's the coolest part of college Survivor games is how you can play Survivor in the midst of college. You can, I mean, were people are allowed to text each other? Are they allowed to text each other strategy, or do you make them only talk strategy if they're together in person?
We highly recommend that they only talk in person about strategy, but of course, like you want to be in constant communication with people. So texting is just going to happen. But
Yeah.
basically, our way of trying to make it not happen is saying like, hey, you have full reign to fake text messages with people. So that is full reign. You can totally go ahead and do that. And that right there usually discourages like really big plans from happening over text.
Yeah, and phone calls can happen. We see that happen later. Are people? I mean, I'm just really fascinated by the rules right now. Are people allowed to send screenshots to each other? Okay.
Yep.
Screenshots can happen, and you. I'm sure you have the plan in place that whenever you are in a strategic conversation to record it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Basically, we say even if you're like just with somebody, if you're just out hanging out and you want to record something, like by all means, go ahead. Like the more footage we have of you just like chilling with people, like that's good footage for us to have. So
Yeah. So at the end of this challenge, which tribe gets to give someone a reward?
so I think it was Tafiti wins the challenge, right? Yes, because they finished first. Yeah, and so Tafiti then gets to give the idol clue to the losing tribe of Sabu Sabu.
And they pick who it goes to, and they pick Eliza. Richard, how did you feel about that? Were you like,
can we first address Austin? Because doesn't Austin tell like basically the entire tribe,
yeah,
let's read this clue out loud? And like the player in me would have been like, hell no. Oh my God. Like I would have kept the clue, or if it was going to make a target, like throw it away. So Richard, like when Austin said that, what were you thinking?
Honestly, I didn't. Here's the thing. I was a sophomore. I'm playing with like a bunch of seniors. Like I think on my tribe there was 3 seniors, like Austin, Eliza, and Austin, Eliza, and Andrew. They're all like, no, maybe not Andrew. Anyway, I'm playing with people who know the area better than me. And so my assumption was that I shouldn't worry about idols because I'm not gonna ever find one on this big huge campus. You know?
Yeah.
Especially with like that first clue, we saw Eliza finds it, right? There's no way I could have ever found that. So
That
my
crazy
sculpture,
sculpture.
like the clue wouldn't help me was right. So I really didn't care about the clue.
Do you feel like that if you played again, you would try harder, or maybe try to like work with other people? Like if you don't care about the clue, try to work with somebody maybe that's actively pursuing it.
Another big thing that people don't know because they don't kind of know the timeline is we haven't seen any of Survivor Michigan come out yet. So I have absolutely no idea how idols are hidden.
Okay.
If like from my perspective, I'm thinking, okay, the smart thing for production would be to hide it at a challenge or a tribal or something, because then they don't have people running around campus looking for idols.
Right.
Because there's no way they would make people do that, right? But they do. And so I have no idea. So I actually, it's not shown, but I kind of looked for an idol at tribal because I was the first one that showed up.
Ooh.
But I didn't find anything because it's not there. But
yeah, I like that. Okay, so now we get to the part. So yeah, Eliza has the clue. Austin's like, are we all going to share it? Are we all going to share it? That was great. Then she said, I'll send a picture to the group me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, while I was watching this, I was thinking, great move, Eliza. You tell them that you're going to put it in the group, but then don't do it for like 3 hours and wait for someone to be like, are you going to post it? And be like, oh my gosh, I forgot. And then post it. Right?
Yeah.
So
I think she probably did that, honestly. I don't remember, but I think she didn't. I think she waited a little bit to send it in there.
Yeah,
that was perfect.
Oh, can we also talk about Emily's stuffed Lorax? Like, I think 10 years ago after Hash Bash, I accidentally glued that myself to that tree because there's a lot of fuzziness 10 years ago in Ann Arbor. So, I mean, I love that whole sequence. Did she actually take it down?
She did. Yeah, she has it. She might, well, I don't know. She may still have it. I don't
It
know.
was so gross looking.
It was really, she's like describing it and it's just like, she's like disgusted by it herself. But she ends up taking it. I don't think there's an actual video of her taking it. And all we have is the like picture of it. So it's just like, you see like the zoom on it occasionally, but that, oh my God, those videos are so funny.
Can you please pull a Survivor Ghost Island and have that Lorax come back in a future season, evolved into an actual idol? Like
it's done. It's done.
And
it just happened.
It could be like where Adam Klein tries to play the Fleur de Lis. It could be like, you want to play that Lorax? Yes. You think that's an idol? Yes. Congratulations. You know.
Yes.
Okay, so back to Austin walking behind the group. What was happening, Richard? Do you remember why he was behind you guys?
I think I was walking fast and they were keeping up with me, but that's from my perspective. It's possible I was walking with the group, and it was 2 years ago, so my memory's kind of messed up from the incident. But I think I was trying to like have someone leave because I was really scared at this point. Like I was shaking. I'm trying to not show people that I'm shaking because I'm literally like,
wow.
It's over. I'm done. I just messed up so bad because I'm not thinking ahead. I don't know how college survivors played. If I was them, I'd totally vote me out.
I think you just came across this episode. You just came across so well-spoken and suave. I don't know if that's the right word. Right?
Charming.
Yeah. He was just a very big social player, like right off the bat. So we see you guys are walking. Austin catches up. And we see Andrew peace out and turn around. It was so great. I loved it. And then Richard, you end up, and Andrew's going to go idol hunting, right? Richard ends up, who do you end up talking with? Eliza
and Emily B. And we actually, I kind of pushed an alliance right there because I'm thinking I need to like have some security. I don't trust that we're going to vote Austin based on one like small 2-second discussion that we had when he left. I need to like have some solidification. And here's where we start I start being shady. Here's the thing. I was just being honest with people about when I thought other people were being shady. So the first thing is Emily B. I'm gonna go through everyone and tell them why they were being shady towards me. It's gonna be fun. Emily B. I meet her right when our tribe first meets. I ask her. I'm trying to like figure out who's a super fan, who's not. So Andrew's like, oh, I don't really watch. Devin's like, oh, I don't really watch.
Oh,
total lies. But I didn't know they were lies at that point.
Yeah.
Elisa and Austin are like, oh yeah, we were really into it. I love Survivor, both of them.
Okay.
And then Emily's like, oh, I just started watching. I think it's pretty good. I'm on season 3, and then I'm like, oh, which one is that? And she says, I don't remember. You're watching Survivor Africa, where the whole premise of like the season is where it is, and she doesn't know where it is. So I'm like, okay, maybe she's a super fan. She's trying to pretend she's not. So it's a tiny thing that I should not have worried about. But I go to Eliza after our meeting and I say, I think Emily B might be a little sus. So just look out for that. I trust you though. Which is my first mistake.
Okay.
Eliza definitely likes Emily B.
Yeah, this whole episode, I just kept on saying like, oh no, Austin, because I kept on thinking Austin was just playing too big. But Richard, you were playing big right off the bat, right? You guys, I loved how you guys were having a conversation and you guys were like, oh, they're probably idol hunting right now.
I don't know if you noticed, but like when I'm throwing people under the bus, I'm just trying to say like there's other people who have done wrong things. I'm trying to like prevent them from thinking, oh, this guy's an idiot. He did something wrong at the very beginning. I'm like, other people have done wrong things too. But I didn't realize they didn't care. So I'm just throwing out people's names all the time, and that's how they see it.
So that's where your game, that's where your game just started spiraling. You're saying,
yeah.
So it wasn't really at the challenge. It was really when you just start throwing people out.
Yeah. So it wasn't when they decided to vote me out. It's when I decided to be an ass, and then they voted me out because of what I did after the challenge.
So I'm curious, Cooper, how much time passed between the challenge and tribal council?
Oh yeah.
It's usually about a week between the two, so maybe sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, but I would
It was
guess
8
about
days.
7 days. Like
That
they
It was
is
got
8 days.
they got about
8
eight.
days. Richard
I
remembers
remember.
every day.
I was in the game for 8 days, not 7. But yeah, so we give them usually about a week to like try to get to know each other. So it is a lot of time to like go out, and you're able to like hang out outside of the game and start to build friendships in a week before you even go to your first tribal.
I love that. I love College Survivor.
So, Richard, you're saying that it really wasn't what we saw in the challenge. You're thinking it was this after the challenge strategic talks where you were throwing too many names out, and you think that kind of came back to haunt you later on?
Oh, that's definitely what it was. I've talked to people after the game, and like we were gonna vote Austin out until I think we voted. They voted me out on Monday. I think we did the challenge on Sunday, the week before.
Okay.
And I think the moment they had that conversation where they're like, "Wow, Richard's being really like he's throwing people's names out." I think that's either Friday or Saturday.
Wow.
So it's like only 2 or 3 days. So I think for the entire week, I'm gonna vote Austin out.
Wait, can you say that again? So you're saying that it was at the end of the week that they changed it to you?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think it was Friday or Saturday, and we voted on Monday.
Wow. Now, this is kind of jumping towards the end, but there was 2 things at the end of this episode that made my jaw drop. First, we get Andrew with the Amazon Prime package where he had bought a fake immunity idol. I was floored. I am obsessed with Andrew. Cooper, are there any rules about fake idols in this game?
Absolutely not. You can buy whatever kind of fake idols, hide whatever kind of fake idols clues you want. If you want to go mad and hide 17 of them, be our guest. Like,
have you? I have not watched the first 2 seasons. Have we seen this before in Survivor Michigan?
we actually did in my season. I guess this isn't that big of a thing, but Tarowski, Alex Tarowski, also has a fake idol and is trying to maneuver with that. So he also ordered off of Amazon.
Do people make fake notes too? Like that seems like crossing the line. Is that a thing?
Sometimes you'll get people that will add fake notes to them, but that's so much harder because you almost have to have something real to go off of. Like if somebody has a real one, it has to be like the same font, the same like style of writing. So the note is a lot harder.
But if you find it and you've never found one in the game yet, who are you to know that it's not the real note?
True.
Oh
True.
Man, I freaking love College Survivor.
This is another reason why I didn't bother looking for idols. I'm like, it's not worth it. There's too many variables here. Like, if people are going to be buying fake idols, it's not really worth it to go out.
Okay,
I was going to hop back and say that, like Richard mentioned earlier, like season 1 hadn't come out yet, so it's not like Andrew knew that somebody had done this in the past. Like this is his own thing of like, oh, I'm going to go out here and like be the first to do this.
Right. And so like I said, my jaw was dropped at the hidden immunity idol. That was amazing. And then we get the speakerphone incident, right? Isn't this right after?
Yeah, I think it's around that time.
So, so Richard, who are you on the phone with? Was it Devin? No.
Okay. So to preface this, I think I have to go back.
Yeah, we need to hear it.
If you want to get it from my perspective, this is what happened. So I talked to Eliza right after Eliza and Emily B speak, and I'm like, Eliza, just so you know, like I'm going to work with you guys, but I don't know if I trust Emily B right now because of what she said. And then what I should have done was I literally told Eliza, like, do you want to be each other's number one? She's like, sure. What I should have done was I should have been like calling her every night, like with game stuff to talk about, or just talking, or just hanging out or something. But I don't know how College Survivor is played. I don't know if we're supposed to do that type of thing. I don't. And for I think like 2 or 3 days, I don't speak to anyone on my tribe.
Ooh.
And which is not the best thing to do. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if I don't want to come off too strong because I've already been really strong in the challenge. So maybe I should cool off with it, right? So I talked to Devin then a few days later, and we talk, and he says, I'm kind of tight with Andrew, but I don't know anything about the game, so which is a total BS.
Oh,
but
man.
He told me he doesn't know anything about the game. Both were doing this thing where they tried to pretend they had no idea what was going on.
Uh-huh.
we talk and I say, it'd be fun to get talk to Andrew, maybe make a threesome type thing. So we make plans to do that. And then I talked to Austin, and me and Eliza had a plan to tell Austin that it was somebody else to just go along with whatever Austin said.
Okay.
But little did I know that she, at that point, this is where it comes into, I should have been calling her. She searched for the idol with Austin on day 2. And I didn't know she already found the idol. So when I heard that she had searched for the idol with Austin, I said, oh, Eliza is trying to shake things up. So now I really got to be close with these 2 guys.
Okay.
Right? So you're seeing how, while I'm like saying like these people aren't trustworthy, it's because I'm receiving false information from all of them. It's not like I'm just spouting lies out of thin air, right?
Right. Okay.
Myself, but I didn't. Anyway, so then I meet with Andrew one-on-one too, and I really like Andrew. Like I'm like thinking at this point, maybe because Eliza's lying to me, I should just stick with Andrew because I really like Andrew. I totally believe him when he says he doesn't know anything about the game, but then he says that, he's only playing because his roommate really likes Survivor. But then he also tells me, like, on our walk over to meet Devin, when we're going to meet all 3 of us, he says that he's probably going to drop a class to play the game, like, harder, which totally throws my sensors off because I'm hoping that I don't have to worry about people like that.
Yeah, like this dude is like, I'm a drop a class for this game.
Like to me, that's crazy because if you know how college works, you have like a certain amount of credits you can take, and like if you drop credits, you're basically wasting money. Oh
my gosh!
And I'm just thinking, this guy's wasting like what $5,000 if he's in state, like way more if he's out of state to play like a game where like it's a great game, but I'm not going to pay $5,000 to play it.
No,
Richard, I think he may have been joking. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know.
I don't think Andrew is going to drop a class. I don't think so.
Oh, I'm obsessed with him. What is this dude? This dude is so great.
Yeah, no, Andrew's awesome. Anyway, except when he's lying. Anyway, so me, Devin, and Andrew meet up, and we talk about Eliza, search that out with Austin. We talk about how Eliza and Emily are tight.
Okay.
And so we say maybe we should take Austin out, and then we'll have 3v2 for like a future. So
Andrew is saying in the chat, not true to me. So apparently he did or was thinking about actually dropping a class. So I apologize.
Shout out to Andrew.
I
can't believe a word that comes out of your mouth anyways, though. So
feel free to tell me if I'm wrong with anything. If you want to.
Okay, so yeah.
So we're getting up to tribal council now.
Well, so we have to hear more about the speakerphone, right? Are we?
Okay. Then I'm leaving. As we're in Ross, right? Because Andrew's a Ross kid, so I'm leaving Ross. And if you don't like it, that's the business school. We all make fun of it because it's a business.
Okay,
school,
business school. Okay.
We're leaving Ross, and so and I'm leaving with Devin. And I tell him. And he's going off about like how Andrew doesn't really care about the game. He doesn't know anything. And I'm like, Devin, just so you know, Andrew did tell me that he was planning to drop a class for this game. So just so you know, like that's in the air, but I still want to work with you guys.
Yeah.
Devin, I didn't know this, but Devin's super, super tight with Andrew by this point because I'm an idiot. And I waited like 3 days to talk to anyone.
You keep on throwing out names to people who are close with other people.
Yeah. But it's not like, this is the thing. In my mind, I'm just being honest and telling them like, just look out for this in the future. Yeah. Also, I am kind of throwing people out because I still think that there's a great possibility that they're all like bullshitting me.
Right.
And that I'm the next one to go because of what I did at the challenge, which isn't what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So then Devin, unbeknownst to me, goes back to Andrew. Oh, and Devin also throws Andrew under the bus. So it's not like just me throwing Andrew under the bus. Devin also throws Andrew under the bus.
Devin,
I don't remember who said it first. But Devin definitely throws Andrew under the bus with me multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And then I call Andrew, and I'm like, just so you know, Devin threw you under the bus. And little do I know that they're on speakerphone when I do that.
Wow. So you called up Andrew to tell him?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm still probably tightest with Andrew after I learned what Eliza did with Austin.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So you can never assume that what you say is private.
Yeah. No. Like if just the fact that if Devin and Andrew were not together, maybe you aren't first boot. If speakerphone doesn't happen, or do you think you were done?
Yeah. And this isn't really shown, but Andrew and Eliza were very close too, because Andrew told Eliza he was a super fan to her for some reason.
Okay.
And so they bonded over that. And so they were really close. So Andrew knew he could call Eliza to turn this into a whole thing against me, because before they do that, they don't really decide to vote me off. And I heard this later, but apparently the reason Andrew didn't want to work with me was because in our meeting with me, Eliza, and Emily B, at the very beginning, Eliza gives us the idol clue. And I don't care about the idol. I'm just like, all right, thanks. I don't really think about it forever. And I don't really think about it at all.
Yeah.
I meet with Andrew, and Andrew asked me if I got the clue yet. And I say no. But I don't, like, in my mind, I don't even have it because I'm not using it. I don't care. So it's like kind of a throwaway no. It's not really like big strategy. I don't really care if he has it either.
Yeah. But
I
just
don't
read into it.
Trouble of explaining that Eliza gave it to me first and didn't give it to him. So I just say like, nah, I don't. Whatever.
Yeah.
When I'm not looking for it, and he takes this to heart. Like he says, "Oh, this guy is lying to me. I hate this dude. I need to make sure he's the next to go." So
Yeah,
that's
he got real perturbed by that, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I don't even know if he goes on speakerphone with Devin if I don't do that.
Wow.
So that's like a very little thing that has huge consequences.
Yeah, it's the social thing. And don't we see Andrew in this episode say in confessional that he's going to connect with people in very different ways, right? So he tells Eliza that he's a super fan. Who does he tell that he's like, oh yeah, I kind of know the show, right?
Devin.
Doesn't he do that? Devin, yeah. Like, so he is socially playing all these different routes. This is the dude buying a fake immunity idol on Amazon Prime. Like, this is insane. I'm so excited to see if he flames out quickly or if this just keeps on going. I'm on the Andrew hype train right now.
And Andrew's a really, really good player because this whole time he's throwing me under the bus. He's the reason for my demise. And he's like my number one at this point, which makes no sense, but he's a very good player.
I think he clocked you right away. I think he figured out, he knew that you would be, I mean, especially with you, like what he assumed was you lying about the idol clue. Like he was like, all right, this dude.
I mean, it was technically a lie, but in my mind it was so tiny that
right.
It didn't matter.
Right.
Just like everyone else kind of lying to me, which with like tiny little things that don't matter that I blew out of proportion in the same kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Man, yeah, I loved it. Is there any other parts of this episode you guys want to talk about before we like talk about tribal or anything?
I'm trying to think. Do you guys have any thoughts on like anything Tormento wise that was happening? Any kind of dynamics there at Tafiti?
Well, like obviously Dylan is such a character. We didn't get much from Dylan, but what we got was gold. Did you know like in his interview and application, did you know he was funny?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We cast him to be basically just like the Joker of the season. Like
100%.
100%.
We love
we
it.
knew he's an entertainer, like top to bottom. But he's got this weird thing where you see people calling him quiet all the time too, and he kind of is. But when you like connect with him and when you get him to like kind of open up, he's so funny.
Yeah.
And so we just loved that. We knew we had gold from Dylan.
Yeah, Tormenta to me just seems like a tribe of a lot of potential threats. Like is Ben on Tormenta?
Mm-hmm.
Ben was a huge storyteller this episode.
Yeah, he's the best narrator, and he's also got getting that BFA in acting. So I don't know about those actors. You got to watch out for them. And then who is it? Is it Nick that created the name Tormenta?
Yes. Yep.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's from Argentina. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he seems like he's not a super fan, right?
No,
he knows nothing about the game.
He had to be explained what the game was by Aaron. Aaron had to teach him Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Which was fun.
Mm-hmm. And then there is also Dr. Aerospace Guy, right?
Yes.
Will.
Yeah.
I saw the YouTube chat calling him Dr. Will, and I'm obsessed with it. That's a Big Brother reference, right?
Yeah.
Is that why? Okay, yeah. Dr. Will is known for being a huge strategist. Will is hysterical, and he is playing amazing, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of threats. I mean, even if is Jesse on Tormenta?
Jesse's on that tribe too.
Even though she seems like she doesn't know everything, she seems like one of those players that's super adaptable. And then you have Emily. I love Emily. In fact, I'm going to be back. I have a stupid Emily P.
Yep. And speaking of Ben makes that alliance with Brady.
Surprise.
What?
So this was from her as we stood in line auditioning for Survivor for CBS.
You met Emily when in an audition line.
I didn't know who she was. Dustin, my partner, is a super fan. He loves College Survivors. He loves all LRGs.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, she was with a group of people. It might have been somebody else from the group, but we, for some reason, still have this because my partner,
a can of soda.
he loves it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I hope to meet Emily P one day and also save a can of sparkling water. That is my new life goal. I was just bringing up how we see Ben also start the Brady, the gay straight alliance. We love it. I loved it. Brady, I think he was kind of like the one who started out the episode, right? He was like had one of the very first confessionals.
Yeah. He and Ben both have some of the first confessionals because they're the first two that then like arrive to the big circle, and so you hear Ben kind of say, "Hey, like whoever else arrives first, like I really want to work with them," and that absolutely happens. Like Brady says, he like slips him his phone and stuff, and like they hit it off and they meet like in this first episode.
I love this alliance. I want to see them go far.
I'm curious how that's going to impact the game. So if my notes are right, the people that arrived first were Ben, Brady, Austin, Cassie, and Nick.
I think those were some of the first people.
Okay. So I'm just wondering if they're going to stick together because of that initial first impressions, or who knows?
Yeah, and they all ended up kind of on different tribes. Like I don't think there's 3 from that group that are together even. So guess we'll have to wait and find out there.
Oh, we love the teaser. Guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, and Will really interests me because he could be perceived as somebody who like overthinks the game on one hand, but somebody who also thinks about it enough so he can come up with the right strategy for that right moment. And I think College Survivor might be good for him because you have 7-8 days to plan for tribal council, as opposed to Survival Challenge, Hannah, where you had 10 minutes.
Right.
So I'm excited to see how Will plays.
Yeah, and just to bring up like some other characters, one of my favorite parts of College Survivor is when you see people flirting during the game, and I think during that beginning, the groups you see a couple some flirting going on. So I'm interested to see how that lasts because College Survivor lasts a whole semester, right? I mean, is that how far you guys go? So like anything can happen over a whole semester of constantly talking to your alliance and whatnot.
I'm curious, who did you see that you thought was flirting? Anybody?
Tall guy. What?
Dylan, Nick, Ben, Brady.
I don't know. He was super tall in the opening, and
right?
And then I get there's 2 girls that have who do a confessional in one of their bedrooms. It was Cassie and Chloe. Like it was one of them that I was like, I see you, girl. I see you. So I might be calling shots out of nowhere, but I'm tracking.
I think you're referencing Dylan and Cassie. Maybe they like start to like pair up when they're like grouping into the threes.
Yeah.
And there's like some kind of look between them.
Yep, I totally caught that. Yeah. So I'm shipping. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other things you guys want to talk about before we talk about Richard's demise at Tribal? So, Richard, did you have any idea what's going to be you going into Tribal Council? Yeah.
I was at this point, you have to remember the entire week, even while I'm doing all this crazy stuff, the reason I'm doing this crazy stuff is because I think it's very possible that they might have just be lying to me and voting me out of the challenge. So I'm playing the entire week like I need to make sure I throw as people under the bus so it's not me, which is not right, but that's how it's thinking. So I'm going in, and so the 5 of us, Devin, Andrew, Emily B, and Eliza, we all made a plan that right before Tribal, we would all meet up and just like make sure we're voting for Austin, right?
Okay.
And that didn't happen.
Ooh.
So I'm thinking there's definitely the 5 of them talking and they're going to vote me out.
Did they stand you up or it just never followed through?
It just never happened. Like no one ever met up.
Warning sign number 1 in any strategy game you play, if people stop talking to you, that play your idol if you have it. It is done.
Yeah. So I'm not thinking, oh, it's 100%. In my mind, I'm also thinking it's College Survivor. No one's going to be talking 24/7. That'd be insane. But people do it. I wasn't thinking people would do it. It was at the back of my mind. There's a reason I didn't talk to people all the time. There's a reason I didn't hang out with people in real life to like just hang out. I would have done it if I knew it was like how the game was played, but I didn't.
Yeah,
So I thought maybe it's just because people are busy and doing
Yeah.
other things. I'm busy. I'm doing other things. That's how life works. You know, it's not an enclosed island where you have living with people all the time.
So speaking of that, Cooper, you've played before and now you've hosted for at least 2 seasons. Is it the norm that people are talking Survivor every day, or what do you think about what Richard was saying?
Oh, I think people definitely talk every day. If you're in an alliance with somebody, like, you are probably texting them basically every day, even if it's not strategy, even if it's just something random. Like, people are socializing all the time.
Wow.
Because it's also like this, you're kind of becoming friends with these people too. So a lot of the times you'll see like you just text like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And people will go and just hang out. So even if it has nothing to do with the game, people are socializing and texting nonstop.
Yeah, and like we hear someone say like, yeah, I saw him at the bar last night. Like, you know, people are just running it. It's so fascinating, really.
Here's a tip for anyone who plays Survivor Michigan in the future. Right now we're casting season 7 if anyone wants to get involved or try to get casted. But if you have someone who you want to be your number one, or like there's like a group of people you really want to work with, you need to be like not even just texting them. Like, you need to be calling these people or like hanging out with them like almost every day, or they'll like move on. Which I didn't know. So I just didn't talk to people for 3 days. And so I learned things late, and it was not great. And I feel like if I had talked to Eliza the first night and I just like called her and asked what was going on, like she probably would have told me, and I would never have thrown her into the fire.
Wow.
And then she would probably have told me about her looking for the idol with Austin. So I wouldn't have been worried about that. Then if I had just talked to Devin or Andrew in like the beginning of the game and not 2 or 3 days late, we probably wouldn't have had the same issues, or I would have been Devin's number one, or I would have been Andrew's number one instead of them hooking up together, you know? So that's honestly besides me throwing people under the bus, that's probably the biggest mistake I made, was just not talking to people enough.
So we're at Tribal, right? And did you get 1 vote? You got 4 votes against you, but somebody voted with you, right?
No,
so it was 5-1. My bad with the numbers.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we didn't see all of them, so
okay, that's why.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that big of a blindside, as you said. It was
it's the first vote. So, and like I said, in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking maybe they're all just lying to me. Like, this whole week is just me like meeting with people for no reason. Which wasn't the case, but I wasn't that surprised, though in my head the reasons they voted me out were the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I think I agree with, you know, what Andrew was thinking. You come across as playing so much harder than it like you were playing hard, but you just had this very like, you know, suave, like you just come across as like this big strategic like work and stuff social player. So I think you just came off as a huge threat, and I totally get it, you know?
You think, Richard, that you would ever play another version of Survivor again, even if it was the real show?
Honestly, I don't know if I want to, because it's like hard and it's really draining. But it's more like a need, where if I would definitely, I've applied to the actual Survivor every year since I was 18. Like if they called me, I would do it. I don't know like about something that's not that, like some of these other online things. I don't love online Survivor because it's just not the same texting. I don't really like texting. Like, if I'm gonna, I don't know. Like, I feel like fun fact, we're actually some of the Survivor Michigan people right now are doing an online game.
Okay.
Playing. And so like texting people is cool and all, but I just don't really like it. Like, I'm a big talker, but if you text me, I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I've played online games during quarantine. I said I never would, but quarantine just brings it out where you just like, I need to do something. I'm so bored. So, I mean, this would be a great place for us to plug live reality games. You know, Richard, there are one-day games out there. I'm sure you've heard of Emily P playing Buffalo. Like there's 1-day games, there's 2-day games, there's 5-day, 7 days. You know, it is really fun. We would love to see you go play another one out there. You would have so many people tuning in.
I think you would thrive in an environment where people can't text.
Oh yeah, you need to be playing a live game where there's no phones involved. There's no speakerphone out there, Richard. No speakerphones that can bear. That's, you know what? That's what we need. A campaign for Richard Live Game 2021 when they're back in business.
We found it, Richard. You would win.
Yeah. I'm a little curious, Cooper. What does it look like for next year right now concerning COVID and the status at U of M?
Yeah, so we're in, I mean, it's definitely kind of a weird spot. It's a weird spot for everyone, obviously. I actually just graduated, so I am...
Woo, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm officially basically like off the production team, and we have a new host and new people who are running everything now. So I don't know if I have, Richard actually might be able to give you a better update.
Yeah, love to hear it.
Honestly.
Yeah, so in season 6, we just filmed season 6 this past semester, and halfway through the semester kind of ends. And so we have everything up to the merge is in real life. And then after the merge, it's kind of all online. Like, I think we did tribal councils and challenges via Zoom. And it was really funny because we had 100 prepared, and then we had to like have them over Zoom in a different way. We had to like make new challenges.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
I think the OSU had to do that too.
Far down the road. Mm-hmm. And then season 7, at the moment, it looks like we're gonna have an in-person semester.
Yeah,
but we'll see what happens. We haven't. We don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
But we are planning on having a season.
It'd be hysterical if you had to have like 6 feet apart challenges. Like what that would include.
And we're casting right now. So if you go into any of our social media, you should be able to find the casting application. Because we're always looking for better players than me to win the game.
Yep. So you could find them on Facebook at Survivor Michigan. You could find I've already dropped our Live Reality Games Facebook group, facebook.com/live reality games. Anything else we need to say before we sign out?
How are you going to sign out? How do we want to end this thing?
We have to do.
I don't need any friends. Bye, guys.
His Chiron that said doesn't need any friends. Not here for friends.
Do we need Dylan to come in here and end this thing? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. How would he be like? That was amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe she's done that.
Oh. Yeah, I think we did. We put him in right at the end where we said he went with his wow.
I forgot about that.
Yes,
oh my gosh, that was Chef's Kiss ending with Dylan. I texted Kirk right after I finished. I said I could not believe they ended with Dylan. That was genius. I am Cooper. Maybe we should end? Do you want to give any little teasers to what's coming next? When is it coming? What's happening?
So episodes every Wednesday, 8 p.m. from here on out. So weekly episodes.
And there's a YouTube live chat that goes at the same time. So tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern so that you could join in on the live chat. Hopefully people in the live chat don't spoil things, right?
We very much, definitely don't do that. We're pretty careful about not doing that. But this season is so good. I mean, within
episode 1, already.
Within our like Michigan kind of Survivor Michigan community, like this is definitely regarded as maybe the top, like definitely top 2, if not the top season that we've had. So I'm so excited for people to see the rest of the season and how it plays out because it is very fun.
All right, well, we've got 2 days till the next episode this Wednesday.
Yeah,
I am pumped. If you want to join in on the discussion, I already dropped the link to the live reality games. We have a specific group just for the season, so you could join the discussion on the talk. Kirk, got anything else for us?
No, thanks guys for helping us out with this first podcast. It's been a blast, and I can't wait to talk with more after the next episode, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you guys so
Absolutely.
much for joining us on this, this Monday afternoon. Kirk and I are teachers. We've got nothing else going on this summer, right? So thank you guys. And Richard, it's so sad that we're not going to be seeing you on our screen next episode, but thank you for coming on and talking all about your first episode.
And everybody out there, get him new applications for season 7.
Yes. All right. Well, I guess we'll call it an episode. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Cheers.